Joining us now, the governor of Nevada, Steve Sisolak. Good morning. How are you today, Steve?
Good morning, guys. Good. How you doing? How's everything going?
We are good. There is a lot of potential sports coming to Vegas. Some that actually is coming, not potential anymore. I do want to start though with baseball here because last year we had you on and you told us that the A's might have been using us as a stalking horse. Was the fun phrase that you used. There's a lawsuit in Oakland about their environmental impact report of their current location. Dave Covell has said that they might announce a site where they could build a ballpark or where they put a bid on some land here in Vegas. Is there any actual more reality to the A's possibly coming to Vegas?
I think there's quite a bit more, frankly, right now. I talked to Dave, in fact, yesterday. We had quite a conversation about a couple sites that they're still seriously considering, got it narrowed down to. We went over the pluses and minuses and the obstacles and the benefits of the various sites that they're looking at, and talked to the commissioner a couple of weeks back about Major League Baseball's desire to move into Las Vegas. So there's a lot more movement, I think, than there was a couple months ago.
Do you get a sense that the A's coming here would be willing to fund the entire bill of the stadium privately?
Well, we're having that discussion. I clearly told them there's no state money available at this time. Now, there's other financing options that they could use. They could use the tax improvement district. They could try to get some infrastructure money from the state or the counties for various parcels. Some of these would require a lot more than others. But they would be on their own in terms of financing and building the stadium. But some of the things they're talking about are a little bit bigger developments, too. So we'll have to wait and see which site they actually settle on. And he assured me that that's going to be soon.
Governor, obviously a huge announcement last week with F1 coming to Las Vegas and having that race on the Strip. I think the thing that most impressed me about the announcement is this is a pretty major commitment from the resort corridor and the Strip casino operators to have this much time with the Strip being closed. What is the sort of commitment that they're making here to make this happen?
Well, it's an incredible commitment from the entire community, the gaming community up and down Las Vegas Boulevard, that whole area, all the businesses that are there. It is going to obviously cause some significant road disruptions. But you're looking at getting, it's unbelievable, 170,000 people in for this race, over, close to 500,000 room nights, 400,000 or 500,000 room nights in for this event. It's going to be a significant impact, $500 million in direct economic impact, over $1 billion total economic impact, and that's not counting the gaming coming in here. So it would have a huge impact on this community, create an awful lot of jobs. When you talk about preparing the track for that, you're talking about things that people don't even realize, having to weld down those manhole covers that are up and down Las Vegas Boulevard, resurfacing the entire lanes that are going to be used for this to meet their standards. So it's a significant amount of work and jobs that are going to go into this, and definitely be a boost for our economy.
How quickly did this come together? Like, when was the first time that F1 in Las Vegas came on the radar before it actually was a done deal?
Well, F1's been talked about for several years. I remember meeting with some F1 folks back when I was on the county commission. It wasn't these same individuals. But when you're talking about whether it was Stefano or Greg coming the first time, I probably met with them. They flew in from England, I'd say probably last fall. Last summer, last fall was the first time we really started talking nuts and bolts, and they came in and showed me the idea and their plans and whatnot and asked for help. And we had numerous meetings since then. They flew in, and we've been talking to the partners on a regular basis, the resort community and the business community up and down the Strip to make this happen. So Steve Hill has really taken the lead in terms of trying to facilitate the conversations. And then it was up to F1 to sell all the different resort partners on the benefit they're going to get out of this. And I'm sure you can imagine, in talking to Greg and Stefano last week, the rooms that are facing the track are going to be pricey for those few days. So the hotels are clearly going to get a benefit out of this, and they realize that. And I think everybody's going to be a winner.
Governor Steve Sisolak with us. All right, I got to ask you about Tim Lewicki and the Oakview Group. They announced they're going to have a $3 billion project, going to include a casino, but also a 20,000-seat arena. Now, I know Tim Lewicki's talked to different couple media outlets, and he sort of downplayed the idea that this means the NBA is coming to Vegas or means that this is going to be where an NBA team plays. What do you know? Because it would seem to make a lot of sense that Tim Lewicki, who's been involved in the NBA before, that if he's going to build a 20,000 seat arena, it would make sense that he thinks an NBA team is going to be playing in there one day.
Well, I think that Tim definitely would like to have an NBA team playing in there one day. They are, again, that's another group that's great to work with. Had some real serious discussions with them in the last month or so. They are convinced that they can make a go of this with just concert entertainment and venue down on Las Vegas Boulevard and Blue Diamond area, that they can bring the acts in, that they control the acts in the entertainment, that the town needs a lot more. We can support a lot more live entertainment. But they ultimately, I think, would like to get an NBA franchise in there. And there's a sense that, NBA franchises don't like to share buildings with NHL teams, and that they feel that if you can, when the NBA comes ready to go, that they're going to say, look, we have an arena as opposed to we're going to build an arena. Now, I can tell you, I get to see Adam Silver pretty regular when he comes for NBA Summer League. We get to sit down and talk and talk about the future of the NBA, and you've got the avenue of expansion that people, are continually talking about, but there's still the possibility of moving a team into Las Vegas, and there's several suitors out there for a team and several options where they could play, and I think it's an exciting time.
Which do you think would be more likely? If Vegas gets an NBA team, do you think it's more likely it would be the NBA expanding or it would be a team relocating to Vegas?
Well, I don't have any inside knowledge on that. If I had a guess at what I'm hearing, there are several teams that are available. They're gotten extremely pricey now, for a professional sports franchise. I think there's a real possibility. There is no firm plan if and when the NBA will expand and what the expansion fee will be. There is no firm plan as it relates to that. You can buy a team if there's one for sale, and what I'm being told that there are a couple that are potentially on the market right now that they could somebody could buy one and move it here with the permission of the league. And I think that the same thing I'm hearing about baseball is that the other owners in the NBA are very encouraging and very optimistic about Las Vegas. They think it's a good market. Now, there's some questions about the media contracts, because it's a small media market compared to the other cities where they locate teams. But there's a lot of pluses in Las Vegas that you see for a team. And when they see the success of whether it's the Golden Knights or the Raiders or now F1 investing in here, you've got to start paying attention when you've got these professional franchises that are putting so much money into Las Vegas and taking such a optimistic view of it that I think they want to be part of the wave.
So the Golden Knights are on the Strip. The Raiders play just very close right off the Strip. I know Dave Cobble has given some quotes about how it would be important for the A's if they come here that it would be on or near the Strip. Does an NBA team being that far away from the main part of the Strip work? Like, how is it different for the NBA compared to the other teams that are already here? Like, would that work out well for them?
You mean the parcel on Blue Diamond?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think that, as the town continues to grow south, part of the development down there on Blue Diamond is a hotel as well. It's convenient, obviously, for residents or tourists to walk to T-Mobile from all the casinos there. You can walk to Legion, over the Hacienda or the Russell Ridge. But a lot of people take, Ubers and Lyfts and shuttle buses and whatnot. I don't think that being off a couple miles south of the Strip would be a detractor, frankly, in terms of attendance. There's the advantage of it in terms of there's a tremendous road access there coming off of Blue Diamond, the I-15 interchanges. And we spent a lot of time talking about that, what impact that would have and what we could do with NDOT to facilitate the traffic coming in and out of these. There's a lot of factors that have to go into play for these folks when they're deciding where exactly to invest $1 billion or more dollars, in terms of building a facility to put this in. And that's one of the things that they're clearly looking at. Yet at the same time, you can add other amenities. You can't get as big a parcel when you get closer to the Strip. I mean, how it's built up, and oftentimes you've got to take one and knock something down in order to make it work or repurpose a property. But when you go south there's a little bit more land, and I think it would free up some flexibility and options for them to develop it.
I take that exit off of I-15 to 215 every day. So you're saying we could have a better exit and entrance onto the highway system there at Blue Diamond and Las Vegas Boulevard?
Well, you could. I mean, there's several points there. You've got the 215 axis. You've got the Blue Diamond I-15 axis, the 215 axis. You've got a couple there that you can get traffic in and out of there. It's not the same as Allegiant Stadium, clearly, because you're talking 20,000 seats as opposed to 65,000 seats. But you've got to be able to get that traffic in and out of there, and they're doing traffic studies. I can tell you the one thing about Oakland and Dave and John and whatnot is people are talking about how long it's taken them. They are doing their homework. They are clearly doing their due diligence. They're looking at proposed sites, options that they might have, and weighing the pluses and minuses. They're looking at economic impact and traffic studies and all those sort of things. These guys have built before. They know what they're doing. And I think that you're going to see a good product in the end.
Governor, you and I talked a lot in the process of Allegiant Stadium being approved and the Raiders coming to Las Vegas. And one of the things that we discussed was the fact that, despite the fact that the public ultimately owns Allegiant Stadium, that you still needed the Raiders and their events company to fill that stadium up regularly, to book it with enough events, to develop the room tax necessary to pay it off. How has that relationship developed between the Stadium Authority and the Raiders, and making sure that everyone gets what they need out of that relationship?
It has been absolutely incredible. I mean, they have far surpassed any projections, expectations in terms of events in that venue. You got to remember they had concerts in there back-to-back on 2 different nights, 2 different groups coming in there. They've had, obviously, football. They've brought in other events into there in the future. We're looking at potentially some real large events coming into there. To imagine that the Super Bowl is going to be in there, that stadium will pay for itself time and time again. When you look at the room tax that's generated, and it's not just the tax dollars that we're talking about here. When you're going into that stadium, you're generating room nights, people sleeping in hotel rooms, which means they're going to eat in the restaurants, they're going to shop in our stores, and that all creates jobs. I mean, it's a clear job generator for the state, for the Clark County and Las Vegas in particular, and the Strip corridor. And I think that the property owners recognize how beneficial this is. I think that's one of the reasons that they're a lot more eager to jump on something like F1, because they see that these sporting attractions generate a lot of traffic. And that traffic generates business, and the business clearly generates profit and jobs. And those jobs are extremely important to me. That's why I'm such an advocate for continuing to expand our portfolio of sports and entertainment events.
Well, you gave us a little tease there, and I know you can't tell us everything, but when you say some other large events, anything you can give us a hint about?
No, you're going to see some announcements coming forward. I can tell you that the Raiders, with Jeremy Aguero moving over there from Applied Analysis, have done an absolutely amazing job of attracting people and selling the benefits of Las Vegas. And when you combine that with Steve Hill and the LVCVA to talk about Las Vegas, I mean, you got to think about this. If you can imagine a year from this November, you're going to have an F1 race with cars going 200 miles an hour down Las Vegas Boulevard with the backdrop of the Las Vegas Strip there. That's something you can't duplicate anywhere else in the world. That's why I am convinced this is going to end up being their flagship race. This is going to be the premier race. And I know the drivers, nobody's going to like going any place better than Las Vegas. I mean, the drivers are absolutely going to love it here. We've got so much in terms of amenities and the hospitality. It's really going to shine, in my opinion. This is a huge get for the Convention and Visitors Authority in Las Vegas. It's a big, big thing for us.
We're getting the Final Four, right? That's one of the events.
It'll be a good final game tonight. I'm looking forward to tonight's game. That would clearly be ideal to have the Final Four. We could host the Final Four without any doubt whatsoever. And, we're going to continue to pursue events. And I'm proud of the team that's been assembled to do that. And we've got facilities of all types there. All these facilities build on each other. All these events build on each other to make it possible. So Las Vegas is, as Steve Hill said at the press conference, you don't really have to sell Las Vegas. I mean, it sells itself. And once you come here, you come back, and this will increase our lasting tourism base for a long, long time. So, like I say, to me, it's about jobs. It's about creating an awful lot of jobs. There's a lot of hotel rooms that we've got to get bodies into every single night on Las Vegas Boulevard. And we're committed to continuing to do that and use all of the resources and assets that we have to make that a possibility.
Well, he is the governor of Nevada, Steve Sisolak. As always, Steve, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Love talking sports with you guys.
Yes.
Have a great day.
You too. Steve Sisolak, the governor of Nevada, kind enough to join us this morning.